Have you ever wondered if it's truly possible to manifest a lottery win, not by luck, but by law? This isn't superstition or wishful thinking, it's spiritual science. In this video, I'll show you the exact method to manifest money, yes, even a lottery win, by aligning with the invisible forces that govern abundance. This isn't about chasing riches, it's about becoming a magnet for them. Let's unlock your winning destiny. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with power. Every word spoken is a decree, sent forth into the invisible realm, where it gathers substance and form. Most people speak idly, unaware that their words are seeds. They sow lack, fear, and limitation, then wonder why their harvest is one of scarcity and disappointment. But those who know the law speak differently. They speak not of what they see, but of what they desire to bring forth. Their tongue becomes the rod that parts seas and opens pathways to abundance. Words are not mere sounds, they are vibrational commands. When spoken with conviction, words draw unto themselves all elements necessary for their fulfillment. What you repeatedly affirm with faith will take root in the invisible and blossom in the visible. To say, "I am always provided for," even when appearances suggest otherwise, is to overturn the seeming facts of lack and replace them with a higher truth. This is not denial of reality, but alignment with divine reality, which is always abundant and always available. Many people do not understand why their affirmations do not work. They repeat positive phrases without belief, and they speak blessings in the morning and curses by afternoon. They declare, "Money flows to me freely," only to follow it with, "But I never have enough." Such contradictions break the circuit of manifestation. The spoken word must be consistent, and it must be charged with emotion and expectation. It is not enough to say the right words. You must believe them as if they were already true. The one who masters their tongue masters their world. Every idle word that passes your lips is a message to the subconscious, which faithfully carries out its orders. If you say, "I never win," the law is set in motion to fulfill that statement. If you say, "I am divinely guided to my highest good," then doors will open and hidden opportunities will surface. The subconscious does not reason, it only obeys. Therefore, your words must be chosen with care and spoken with unwavering authority. Declarations made in faith create an inner vibration that resonates through the universe. When you affirm wealth, health, love, or success, you are not asking for something you do not have. You are calling forth that which is already yours in the invisible. The spoken word is the activator. It turns potential into presence. When a person speaks with divine confidence, heaven and earth move to align with that vibration. It is wise to begin each day with a spoken decree that establishes your atmosphere. Say aloud, "This is a day of divine completion. Everything I desire is already on its way." Such words clear the air of fear and make straight the path of demonstration. Speak as one who knows, not one who hopes. The world responds not to begging, but to commanding, when that command comes from the authority of spiritual alignment. You must learn to speak your good into existence and to hold to that word even in the face of contrary appearances. Appearances are but shadows, temporary illusions that crumble before the word spoken in faith. Declare, "There is no power but God. There is no delay in my demonstration. What is mine comes to me now." Each word becomes a living force, going forth and preparing the way. Just as rain cannot return to the sky without watering the earth, your words cannot return void when they are spoken with spiritual authority. They accomplish what they are sent to do, but you must be vigilant. Refuse to speak of what you fear. Refuse to give energy to what you lack. Speak only what you want. Speak it boldly, joyfully, and repeatedly until the outer reflects the inner decree. Let me know if you'd like to expand this topic further or move on to the next keynote. Law of Substitution. The mind like a fertile garden, cannot entertain two opposing thoughts at the same time. When a thought of lack, fear, or doubt enters, it must be replaced, substituted, with its spiritual opposite, or it will take root and bear fruit. This is the law of substitution, the divine method by which the soul uproots error and plants truth in its place. Every negative word, every fearful vision, every thought of limitation must be consciously replaced by its spiritual counterpart. For what you allow the mind to dwell upon becomes the pattern the universe follows. The subconscious mind does not discriminate between good and evil, abundance and scarcity. It receives whatever is impressed upon it, whether by faith or by fear, and it begins immediately to work toward expression. That is why one must not attempt to fight or resist negative thoughts. Instead, one must substitute them. You do not wrestle with darkness, you turn on the light. You do not curse the cold, you strike the match. And you do not banish fear by force, you dissolve it with the word of truth. When you feel the pangs of financial fear, do not dwell in them or speak of them aloud. Instead, declare, "There is no lack in divine mind. I am now receiving the perfect manifestation of supply." By this substitution, you erase the imprint of fear and replace it with faith. The vibration of fear cannot linger where the word of truth is spoken, but the substitution must be immediate. The moment you recognize a negative feeling, act, speak, replace. The longer the thought is entertained, the deeper it ingrains. Many people make the mistake of trying to resist what they don't want. They fight their fears, they analyze their doubts, they rehearse their problems in thought and conversation. In doing so, they give life and energy to the very conditions they wish to destroy. But spiritual law is not activated by resistance, it is activated by replacement. If you wish to experience peace, you must substitute worry with the knowing that divine intelligence is in charge. If you wish to experience love, you must replace feelings of unworthiness with the truth. I am one with divine love, and divine love now flows through all my relationships. The law of substitution is not merely a mental trick, it is a spiritual tool. It brings you back into harmony with the infinite when you have strayed into the maze of appearances. Appearances may scream of delay, debt, illness, or confusion, but appearances are not the truth. The truth is spiritual and unchanging. To substitute fear with faith is to align again with the power that never fails. And the substitution must be spoken. It must be declared aloud or repeated in the silence of the heart until it takes hold. It is not enough to merely think positively once or twice. The mind must be trained, daily, moment by moment. When you catch yourself saying, "I never win anything," replace it immediately with, "I am now aligned with divine success. What is mine comes to me now." When you think this is impossible, substitute it with, "All things are possible with God." Every error thought is a seed of disorder, and every substituted truth is a seed of divine order. One brings confusion, the other manifestation. You may not always feel the truth of the new statement right away, but speak it anyway. The spoken word has power to lift the soul even when the emotions lag behind. Do not wait for belief to arise. Declare the truth, and belief will follow. As you continue this practice, you will notice that old patterns fall away and new ones take their place. What once caused fear now becomes an opportunity to practice divine substitution. The law of substitution is the cleansing of the mental temple. You remove what no longer serves and place on the altar only that which aligns with spirit. Fear is not cast out by force, but by truth. Doubt is not examined, it is replaced. Lack is not studied, it is dissolved by the word of abundance. One does not need to be perfect in this practice, only persistent. Each time a fearful thought is caught and corrected, a spiritual victory is won. Let me know when you're ready to move on to the next keynote. The power of divine order. There is no confusion in the divine mind. What appears chaotic to the human eye is, in truth, moving according to a perfect, invisible pattern. This is the power of divine order, the law that governs the unfolding of every event, every manifestation, and every desire according to spiritual timing and harmony. When we align with this law, we are lifted above delay, disorder, and discontent. We no longer chase or strive. We simply declare, trust, and allow the pieces to fall into their appointed place. So many people become discouraged because things do not happen when they want them to. They plant a seed and dig it up the next day, wondering why it hasn't blossomed. But spiritual manifestation is never late and never early. It is always right on time, according to divine order. The oak tree does not grow in a single moment, and the rose does not bloom before its appointed season. Likewise, your good will not arrive a moment too soon, nor a moment too late. It comes when your consciousness is ready to receive it. Divine order is the rhythm of the universe. It is the choreography of spirit, moving people, places, and conditions into their right alignment for your highest good. When you say, "Everything is happening in divine order," you are not excusing delays. You are declaring that a higher intelligence is arranging all things perfectly, even if your human mind cannot yet see how. In this trust, fear dissolves. In this faith, pressure disappears. You no longer strive to force open a door because you know the right door will swing wide at the appointed time. It is only the ego that demands instant results. The spirit waits patiently, knowing that nothing can be withheld from the soul that is aligned with truth. Your desire is not denied, it is being prepared. The people who must play their part are being positioned. The circumstances required are being shaped. You may not see the movement, but that does not mean there is no motion. Beneath the surface, divine order is at work. And just as surely as the dawn follows the night, your manifestation will appear in the visible when all things are rightly arranged. To activate divine order in your life, you must release your need to control. You must lay down anxiety and pick up assurance. Declare, "Divine order is now established in my mind, my affairs, and my world." Let that word go before you as a guide, arranging your steps and smoothing your path. If something is delayed, do not say it is lost. Say, "This delay is divine protection. Something better is on its way." In this way, you remain on the side of faith and not fear. When something leaves your life unexpectedly, do not curse it or cling to it. Divine order is also at work in release. Sometimes what is removed is making room for something greater. Sometimes the subtraction is part of the multiplication. If a door closes, bless it. Say, "That which is mine by divine right cannot be taken from me. That which is not mine, I release with grace." This is the power of spiritual poise, rooted in the unshakable knowledge that divine order governs all. Divine order is not passive. It is not sitting back and doing nothing. It is the active faith that your spoken word, your vision, and your affirmation are creating a blueprint. And that blueprint is being carried out with precision. You are not waiting idly. You are preparing joyfully. You are speaking truth, clearing fear, holding to the vision, and allowing the spiritual mechanics to assemble your good in perfect sequence. When you begin to live in harmony with divine order, you stop struggling. You no longer run from one idea to another, nor grasp at every opportunity in desperation. You move with peace. You speak with power. You walk with certainty, because you know that nothing can be lost, delayed, or denied when spirit is in control. You let go of the how and focus on the knowing. You declare the end from the beginning and let the invisible intelligence do the rest. Let me know when you're ready for the next expansion. Imagination as the scissors of the mind. Imagination is not a child's plaything. It is the workshop of the soul, the instrument through which you cut the patterns of your destiny. Every image you hold in your mind, if sustained and charged with emotion, begins to clothe itself in form. Imagination is the scissors of the mind. It trims away what is unwanted and shapes what is to be made manifest. What you see within, with feeling and faith, becomes what you see without. This is not fantasy. This is spiritual law. The average person uses imagination destructively. They rehearse disaster, dwell on worst-case scenarios, and relive scenes of rejection, poverty, and illness. They picture unpaid bills, difficult people, or failed plans, not knowing they are snipping out those very conditions with the sharp blade of inner vision. The subconscious mind accepts images as commands. It does not argue, it does not judge, it receives the image and sets about bringing it into experience. That is why you must become the conscious designer of your inner world. When you hold a vision of success, joy, and abundance with clarity and conviction, you create a spiritual mold. You may not see the result at once, but rest assured, it has been set in motion. What is held in the unseen is on its way to the seen. The clearer and more consistent the image, the quicker it will materialize. Imagination is your creative power. It is the way you participate in the divine act of creation. You are not merely a receiver of life, you are a maker of it through your inner pictures. You must begin to imagine as one who knows the truth. If you desire wealth, do not simply affirm it, see it. Picture yourself writing the check without worry, receiving unexpected sums, giving freely and joyfully. Feel what it is like to be free from the burden of debt. Hear the sound of peace in your heart. This is not make-believe, it is spiritual construction. The more detailed and joyous the image, the more power it holds. When doubt or fear tries to creep in, use your imagination again to cut it off. Do not allow it to linger. If you see yourself failing, replace the image at once with one of victory. If you imagine conflict, erase it with a vision of harmony. If you picture delay, shift immediately to a scene of perfect timing and divine orchestration. This is your power. You are the artist of your inner canvas. What you paint today becomes the landscape of your tomorrow. Imagination must be guided by faith. Without faith, images are powerless. You must not only see your good, you must believe it is already yours. The combination of mental imagery and spiritual assurance is unstoppable. It reaches beyond reason and calls forth the miraculous. When you close your eyes and imagine your desire fulfilled, and you feel the joy of it as though it were real, you are aligning yourself with the creative force itself. Do not be afraid to imagine greatly. The infinite supply knows no limits. If your vision is born of love, service, joy, and divine right, then it is yours to claim. Some think it is arrogant to desire much, but it is false humility to believe you are meant to live in lack. Visualize your life as a divine masterpiece. Picture the perfect health, the loving relationships, the inspired work, the overflowing abundance. Keep those images alive. Nourish them with your words, your gratitude, and your unwavering faith. The scissors of the mind are always at work. They are either shaping joy or carving out despair. They are cutting patterns of plenty or templates of poverty. You choose the design by the images you dwell upon. Your present circumstances are reflections of past imaginings, consciously or unconsciously held. But the moment you choose a new image, backed with feeling, you begin to rewrite the script. The mind cannot hold two pictures at once. Dismiss the one you do not desire and hold fast to the one that leads to your divine inheritance. Ready for the final keynote? Let me know. Release and non-resistance. To manifest your desire, you must learn the sacred art of letting go. You must release the clutching, the mental grasping, and the anxious longing that binds you to delay. What you truly desire cannot come to you while your fists are clenched in worry. It arrives when your hands and your heart are open. This is the law of release and non-resistance, the spiritual principle that dissolves all blocks and opens the channels for your good to flow in perfect and divine ways. Many seekers declare their intention boldly, yet fall into the trap of attachment. They affirm abundance, yet worry over how and when it will arrive. They pray for love, yet obsess over a specific person or outcome. This is not faith. This is control disguised as desire. True faith makes no demands. It speaks the word and releases the burden. It knows that what is rightly yours cannot be taken, delayed, or denied. Release is not giving up, it is giving over. It is placing your intention into the hands of the infinite and trusting the divine mechanism to operate without interference. Non-resistance is not weakness, it is spiritual strength. It is the refusal to struggle against appearances. When things seem to go wrong, the soul rooted in truth does not panic or push, it yields, not in defeat, but in mastery. To resist is to energize the very thing you wish to dissolve. Resistance feeds fear. It magnifies problems. It blocks the passage of miracles. But when you say, "This too is working for my good," you rise above the storm and enter the calm eye of divine alignment. You cannot receive with a closed hand. You cannot be guided while demanding your own way. Many times, the answer to your prayer is already on its way, but it must bypass your insistence and detour around your resistance before it can reach you. When you release, the path becomes straight. When you surrender the how, the universe reveals the how. When you no longer grasp at timing, timing aligns itself in your favor. What you chase runs, but what you magnetize flows. Some believe that to let go is to lose, but in truth, nothing that is yours by divine right can ever be lost. What is forced is never secure. What is begged for slips through the fingers, but what is released in trust returns multiplied and glorified. Declare your word, hold your vision, and then let go with peace. Say, "I release this desire to infinite intelligence. It is now unfolding in perfect time, under grace, in a miraculous way." In that moment of surrender, you become a true co-creator, not a beggar of blessings, but a vessel for divine delivery. Non-resistance also applies to people and conditions. When others oppose you, do not return their resistance with resistance. Stand in truth, but stand without force. The energy you send out is the energy that returns. If someone has wronged you, bless them and release them. If a door closes, give thanks and turn your gaze to the greater opening that awaits. Every refusal, every redirection is part of a divine rearrangement that you may not yet understand. When you resist nothing, you remain in flow. You cannot force a seed to grow by digging at it every day. You plant it, water it, and trust the soil. So it is with your spoken word. Once declared, it must be left alone to take root in the unseen. Constant mental interference is like digging up the soil. Speak your word once with faith, and thereafter give thanks. Gratitude is a sign that you've truly released. When you give thanks before the thing appears, you demonstrate that you trust the process. Many delay their manifestations because they hold so tightly to one path, one method, one person, one outcome. But the universe is never limited to the channels you can see. Often, your highest good is trying to reach you another way, but resistance blocks the detour. Release your preferences. Let go of the rigid plan. Say, "This or something better now manifests for me in perfect harmony." In doing so, you invite the infinite to do its perfect work without obstruction. You do not win the lottery by chance. You win it by law. Not the law of man, but the higher, unseen laws that govern all things. The spoken word, the substitution of truth over fear, the unfolding of divine order, the sacred imagination, and the release that opens the floodgates of supply. These are not mere ideas. They are spiritual tools. When you use them with faith and consistency, you align with the very substance of abundance itself. Speak only what you wish to see. Replace every fearful thought with its spiritual opposite. Trust the timing of heaven over the timelines of earth. Picture your good boldly and let the scissors of the mind cut the pattern in the unseen. Then let go and know it is done. This is not striving. This is surrender. This is not superstition. This is divine precision. The lottery is just one symbol of sudden and unexpected wealth. But the true jackpot is your awakened power to create. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are a vessel of the infinite. And when you remember that, the question is no longer if you will receive, but how greatly you will allow yourself to.